Click.
And then we get on the tubes tab. Waiting. Still waiting.
I heard a notification.
Okay, we're streaming. We're live.
Oh no. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's right. Lytics Weekly Daily Wednesdays. Pre-chosen. It's terrifying, Pedro. I'm a little scared. Never done this before. Except for last week and like all of last year.
And the past 70 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. It's really easy to keep track of how long you've been doing these shows when they're under 100, isn't it?
Yep.
You can math that out really quick. What is there, like 50-something weeks in a year? 52 weeks in a year, I think?
52, yeah.
Yeah. So, what's up, Theron?
Hey, Theron.
Lennox Nero. With his horrifying gif coming to you live from our oh, man. I've always wanted to try one of those, but I'd kill myself with it. You'd find it, like, impaled in one of my eyes somehow. It'd be terrifying. They say they work rather well, though.
Supposedly, I just use those, like a spray can that just shoots it up your nostril.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see, I made the mistake of buying one of those spray decongestants one time.
Mm-hmm.
Never again. Dude, fortunately, I just hit one nostril. That nostril ran for like 9 hours straight.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. And you're only supposed to do a little...
That's what I did. I mean, we're talking floodgates of like, where you just admit defeat and you go get tissue and shove it up your nostril. It's like, you know what? This is my life now. I'll have to live like this until this stops.
Okay.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it wasn't a spray, it was one of those, like, teeny tiny cylinders that you would shove up your nostril and then inhale.
Mm-hmm.
I just spent hours with that thing up my nostril. I literally just shove it in, just leave it there because I like the smell.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
It had that minty smell, so I just... Yeah. As it turns out, Strider is now a little too important for us. He got himself a paying job.
Frenchie just like straight blew us off. He did. He said peace among worlds. Slammed the door behind him. It was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah. He's a little too important for us now, so yeah, it's just the two of us.
Oh, for this week, we don't know exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe next week there'll be
to give you the
else.
Official story in the pre-show. He was like, "Good news, I got a job," and everyone's like, "Bad news, I start tomorrow."
Yep.
So normally you get some blowback for that, but you know he's been looking for a job, and it's like, and it starts tomorrow. I was like, all right, fine, go. Where's Sandy? Sandy's where's always. Sandy even wrote in.
Yeah. He left us a bit of feedback. Stick around.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Jordan's also at job.
Yeah. See, the trick to asking the right questions is ones that you couldn't answer by pinging them on Twitter.
Well, if I have to work Wednesdays, but I can, you know, leave at 6, 7, like usual, I'll still do the Wednesday show. Oh yeah, good luck trying to convince Sandy not to curse.
Let's see, 3. Yeah, if Pedro starts missing Wednesday's shows, he's doing it on purpose.
I mean, if I have a job that needs me to work a bit later,
There's no one going to put up with you that many hours, man.
I don't know.
Just get that out of your mind. It's not going to happen.
Who knows? I mean, no one really knows me in the UK outside of the people that watch this show.
Takes 30 seconds.
Ah.
Honk honk. Trying to buy some time to see if my shipment gets here before, because I know as soon as we start recording.
Maybe that was the honk honk.
I don't know the driver that well. Yeah, I get up to go get a refill. He's making a sandwich. Maybe it's like that. Yeah, Steve, that's what Pedro's not really realizing is that he was like, okay, we'll just do it in the mornings before work.
Let's see. I could be persuaded to get up earlier if need be.
That'll be great. You gotta do it without any caffeine.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a bit. It's 2 hours less than that here in Portugal and in the UK. So yeah.
Yep. What is it? UTC +1 right now.
Yep. Oh. Because daylight saving time is still a thing.
Of course. Why not?
I say, you know, keep the clocks at daylight savings and just don't revert them back in the winter. Because I don't want it to be like 4 p.m. and it's nighttime already.
Mm. I don't know. I just don't like this time of the year. It needs to get cold again.
Right, the heat. I usually don't mind the heat so much unless I have a webcam pointed at me and I need to wear a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's been that time of the year here for almost 2 months. Yesterday, barely touched 23.
Yeah, it's been hot, really hot here for the past couple of weeks, hence the fire.
Well, I think the fire was hence the lightning.
Yes, dry lightning will do that, but yeah. It's,
wet lightning's what you gotta watch out for.
It was, the fire started on those days that it hit 42 in certain places inland, and Pedro, which is where the fire started, was one of those places, and then lightning on top of that. Yeah, it was inevitable.
It's, if you ever seen Quinn's My DNA, if lizard people exist, I got just a little bit of that. Because if you get me to the right temperature, which is nice and cold, and give me a blankie, I'm out. It won't put me to sleep, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go lay down and like surf YouTube and read Reddit.
Yeah, I don't like just doing that while lying down. I like to do that while sitting down.
I don't like sitting down.
I will sit for hours and hours on end.
No, ma'am. I will sit down when I'm forced to. Like right now. That's about it.
Well, if I have to have a shirt on, you get to sit down.
You think the whole point is to build a standing vertical studio where I don't have to sit down anymore.
Damn it.
I'm looking forward for 5 more hours of standing on Saturdays.
See, I used to stand a lot when I worked as a doorman for the The campsite. It's basically 8 hours on my feet every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would have to pull double shifts, so make that 16. Eucalyptus? I like the smell of eucalyptus.
I'm not 100% on what it smells like.
Let's see if I can...
What has eucalyptus in it?
Let's see. What do you call those spray cans that make it smell nice?
Mace.
The others. It's not deodorants. I can only think of deodorants. It's the thing that you spray that people usually have in the bathroom for when they poop. Aerosol cans.
This is more entertaining than the show is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get your hopes up.
Come on, what's it called? Air freshener. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Air freshener. Yes. The Woods air freshener. If you get one that smells like the woods, it's a mixture of pine and eucalyptus.
Steve says it smells a bit like cedar. That's the problem, Steve. I don't trust cedar.
Let's see.
Definitely am going to need a fourth monitor.
I know for a fact I need a third one, but right now we're in cost contention, so...
You think that's cute? Try to put together a studio.
But you're not moving to another country right now. So what's your excuse?
Clever girl. Right now.
Right now.
The Grammy... Ow. Grammy... I don't know if you'd go with two M's on that.
The grammometer?
Grammometer?
Or, wait, if it has two M's, it would be grammometer.
I throw an H at it just because it's English. And Pedro and I have both definitely had the discussion on the spelling of Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Just Wednesday.
I got to the point where I have to remind myself that it's spelled Wednesday.
Wednesday. That is exactly how my brain
Wednesday.
processes it. It's like, don't. Wins. W-E-N-D-S. Wins. Oh, no.
Yeah. Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday. That is it.
Mm-hmm. This is the day when you play NES games, yes.
No, man. It's when you play
Well,
NES the day after your honeymoon.
Huh?
What?
That one's a bit lost on me.
What? Wednesday from Addams Family, the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Yay.
Wednesday, that's currently in, yes.
You're slipping, man.
It's been a while since I've seen Addams Family, for being honest.
Chips have gotten so bad Pedro's moving to an island to escape.
And,
He's putting a channel between him and the fires.
yeah, no worries for me. It's actually considerably further away than they were last year. Last year, it got to the point where I was living, the CO2 levels crossed the toxicity threshold. So it wasn't that bad.
Was out there choking and dying, and Pedro was lighting another cigarette, walking around mocking them.
I literally got out of the house like everyone else, and I lit a couple of cigarettes as I went on my way. Yes. I actually did that.
Why not?
Because everyone's saying, oh, air toxicity levels, and everyone that went outside had like those hospital masks.
Mm-hmm.
Whatnot. I was just like, cigarette.
I almost went smart. I found they had a Bane welding mask, and it needed to buy. It was way too expensive though. It's like, oh, you know, you're going to be alone, playing around in your garage, making the Bane voice. That's not healthy. Let's not do that.
You merely adopted darkness.
Right.
I was born in it, molded by it.
Probably need to start just Venn's garage, just a live stream of that like 3 times a week.
Chipsy, nothing concrete yet. The company that I was in talks with, they basically went quiet. And my cousin doesn't work for them anymore. She found a better paying job with another company, so I don't even have that.
And on that bombshell, I'm going to go get a refill, then we're going to get business going.
Yes. So, yeah, I am basically waiting to hear from them, but in the meantime, the moment I move, I don't care if I have to work at the back of a computer store somewhere. I don't know. But, yeah. I will find a job there, mostly because people in the UK, when it comes to jobs, they don't string you along by the dick like they like to do here in Portugal. And it's considerably easier to find a job, hence the 1% unemployment rate over there versus the 12% here. So, yeah, no, I'm okay. Oh yeah, when Brexit kicks in, we'll see. Supposedly, Brexit will only come into effect in 2018. So... yeah, no. I'm not moving to Canada. Australia is a possibility. But that too has crappy internet. Yeah, no. Trump land. I mean, if he doesn't get impeached and if he manages to get reelected, there is no way in hell I'm moving to the US in the next 7 years. And I have one of those faces, like the moment I'm going through security at the airport, they're just going to call me aside and the TSA is going to give me an ass probing. So, yeah, no, not right now. Well, the advantages of Pence is that at least he's a politician. He's not a megalomaniac business owner. Assuming, let's see, Jordan and Pedro in the same domicile. That just seems like a live grenade. That would be Insult Fest 24/7.
You say so. Sounds legit.
Yes.
All right. Ready to do this business?
Maybe Jordan should move to Jordan.
Jordan's been to Jordan.
Yeah, he's been there.
Permanently scarred him with the heat. I mean, can you imagine anything crueler than putting a Canadian in a place that's 40 degrees in the morning?
to everyone living in the U.S. Oh, Linux Neuro says he has some bunk beds you can sleep in.
Well, it's either that or we're going to Jamaica. Everyone forgets Jamaica's a thing, and we can just chill out there.
I mean, you'd think that was kind of the point. It's like, oh yeah, Jamaica, it's kind of that place with all the drugs that people will go to on vacation, but don't really make a living there. Outside of drug dealers. Oh no, wait, that's Colombia.
It's South America, son. See,
Yeah, it's most of
Jamaica's
South
got the
America.
detriment of you actually have to go across water.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Yep. Alright, let's close that and that. And get to the right place on the notes.
And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we take that midweek break when we sit back, relax, and just kind of talk about the Linux stuff that we personally find interesting, and we kind of hope maybe you dig it as well. Maybe we even run across something that is kind of neat, borderline cool. But let's see, what's going on this week? Well, one of the things we're going to be chatting about is WPS Office. Do you remember that? No? Don't feel bad. No one else does either, but they have a brand new release, and our good friends at Suzy, they're going to attempt to make XFCE all the pretties, which makes me wonder, since Unity's been kind of forked, maybe they'll attempt to make it usable.
Ooh. No, well, there's a new version of Debian Stable, which for a little while means I can't really call it stale. And South Korea, a South Korean web hosting company, got ransomwared. And in their infinite wisdom, they decided to pay said ransom.
That's a brilliant plan that works 100% of the time, 90% of the time, isn't it? No.
Mm-hmm. 60% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Yeah, it sounds like nightmare fuel. Okay, and joining us live, that's everyone in Shadow Realm Dynamic. It's kind of brilliant. Let's just get right into this business with the Debian 9 stretching out.
Yep, they stretched all right, and the new version has been released. It was released on June 17th, and they say after 26 months of 26 months of development, the Debian project is proud to present its new stable version, 9, codenamed Stretch. And they bring a couple of new things. They have replaced MySQL with MariaDB. They have the 4.9 kernel, Firefox ESR 45.9, Chromium 59, KDE 5.8 LTS, Mate 1.16, and XFCE 4.12.
All that sounds brilliant. All that sounds brilliant, but how many people are running Debian 9 stable that are not running it as a headless box?
Very few, but there are. Every now and again we'll see that person in the Steam forums. Usually, I am running Debian and this and that. So they exist. There's not many of them, but they exist. So yeah, this is Debian for the past 2 years have been trying to get things up and running for this release, and they say it should be a painless update for people who are already running other Debian versions. And there was one thing that kind of called my attention, which was administrators and those in security-sensitive environments can be comforted in the knowledge that the X-Display system no longer requires root privileges to run. Why was this still a thing?
Hey man, don't worry about it. Look over there. Punch the monkey. A couple of things they've thrown into this business. Iceweasel, iStov, they're going to be replaced by Firefox and Thunder Chicken. It's going to be brilliant. Apologies for the one person who wrote in And I was like, yo, I use Iceweasel. That's the thing. The Debian Live images, they now include support for that newfangled UEFI, and you can boot with them. It's got that going for it, man, and it's installable in 75 languages. And something that did give me a little bit of a laugh, Pedro, was one of the packages that was updated. It was like, we now support XFCE 4.12. And I was like, on a technicality, that is the latest version, but only because it's XFCE.
Yeah, you still need to use the PPA if you want access to 4.14. But yeah, that's the new Debian. I mean, it's business as usual as far as Linux goes. It's a new Debian stable. So for now, I can't call it stale.
Okay, coming up next, man, we're going to talk about that WPS Office thing. Yeah, it's out from OMG Ubuntu. You can find all this in the show notes. If you're listening, head over to linuxgamecast.com. Weird place to host a shut. But it's a thing. They've added WPS Office for Linux room. Okay, all these things, man. After asking around, Pedro, people just, on G Plus and just text and stuff like that. It's like, hey, has anyone heard between, what's this WPS thing? And it was a 50-50 split between, I thought that project was canceled. And what's that? And
fair enough.
Yeah,
WPS Office, their big selling point over LibreOffice, even back when they used to be called Kingsoft Office, was the better compatibility between Microsoft Office documents and, rather than what LibreOffice offered at the time. Of course, nowadays, I don't really know if that still holds up because I remember trying Kingsoft Office all the way back then, and I never even started WPS Office. And I remember last year, there was something in the news that said that WPS Office 2016, this version that is currently available for Linux, did a little something that wasn't very good. If you got the free version, you tried to export your document into a PDF, or you tried to print said document from inside WPS Office, you would get a little watermark on your documents. Yeah, that was bad. So people started to complain, and then they changed it. And now, I don't know if that's the case with the Linux version specifically, but if you want to unlock those features, because they're not available by default on the free version, you can unlock them for 30 minutes if you watch an ad.
All right. So, A, just use LibreOffice. B, if you've already sold your soul to the Google Docs, as we'll use for the show, then no. That's definitely the thing. But, this is the same project, which they did a good job of covering. I thought I was going to have to go dig this up. But they tweeted, it was last year, that this project was, in fact, going open source. Then they deleted the tweet. They deleted that tweet. And, of course, it's the internet. What happened? Streisand effect invoked. Everyone had the screenshots and all the fun stuff. That was definitely a thing. But the beautiful, sweet part of this was then this company turned around and started blaming blogs and news sites for spreading fake news that they never said it was going open source in the face of the screenshots. And I guess maybe they just edited the screenshots to say that, because that's totally something they would do, isn't it? Yeah, they were. Everyone's out to get them, right? They're the victim, Pedro. Clearly,
yeah,
so
totally.
Short story long, ladies and gentlemen. If you're using WPS Office, stop.
Please stop.
But something you might consider using is Vivaldi, which you are currently viewing right now. Know it or not, we use it for the web browsing for the show. But they got a new version out, man. It's got a couple of new things. 1.10. Nothing major. I mean, you can finally dock developer tools. I think it's on their website right here. Previously, that's going to pop up in a new window. I'm just glad that's a thing, just because it was a smidge annoying. Again, we reported on this, that this was coming. You can sort downloads for the nobody who uses a download manager in their browser.
Yep.
We look forward to your feedback on that one next week. And a few quick command improvements. for those of you who suffer from musophobia, which is the fear of mice. If you want to use the browser completely from your keyboard, which is neat. Again, people, if you don't know any browser that you have open, Control L. Do it. If you don't know what that command does, just do that and go, ooh, neat.
Ooh, neat.
I like Vivaldi. Not a huge, nothing game changing in this version, but again, once you, it's kind of weird. I guess you do have to do something strange in 2017 to differentiate yourself from everyone else. And they're like, but we're the start page, and we get the first thing anyone does Vivaldi is cut all that off.
What's that start page? Google.com? Sure.
Right. It's based on Chromium. It's a good way to have another version of Chromium running. That's about it, and that's what it's good for. It works. I like it. Good project. Keep it up. Do you get any thoughts on this, or have you ran out and downloaded it and given it the business?
I am running it right now. In fact, the return video that you can see, it's going through Vivaldi. Yeah. So they did fix a couple of Linux issues, which were the rocker gestures that didn't work consistently if you disabled allow gestures. I guess it makes sense.
Okay.
And UI context menus did not show up on long touch if you were using a touch screen or something like that. Now that's been fixed on the Linuxes, and it should work. I mean, whenever I start Vivaldi, the very first thing I notice, like, oh look, it's a browser that is basically Chrome but built in CSS. Because everything is pretty, everything is animated. It's like,
like everyone, of course, in chat right now, definitely having the browser wars when, Lynx is clearly the superior. Hey, XFC and Susie, we were definitely talking about this, about mouses, chameleons, polishing the XFC desktop on OpenSUSE. You silly people. I love you only because you're German. Yeah. The appeal for me personally with XFCE is having a blank slate that you can customize. But SUSE has a different idea, don't they?
Well, it's not exactly a different idea. They just want to provide instead of just providing you that blank canvas, they drew a little something on it and they leave it for you to color it in and use the rest of the canvas if you want to draw more stuff on it. And they do have some good tips for people who want to start futzing with XFCE. The Whisker menu is a much better menu than the default one. If for no other reason than it has a little teeny tiny search box at the bottom. Very useful. Now, they do also suggest that you bind the super mod 4 Windows key to open said menu. I wouldn't do that, because that means whenever you want to use one of those keys for a command, menu is just going to pop up the whole time, whether you want it to or not. Now, they do have a little suggestion by the end of the article that says that if you want to use another archive manager with Thunar, they give you exactly all the steps you need to do to, it's just basically copy a file, and instead of it being called file roller.tap, just make sure you replace the file -roller bit with whatever. If you don't like to use file roller, I honestly don't understand. I use it all the time.
It works. Good luck with that. I think a lot of hardcore XFCE zealots like myself. Am I wrong by saying if you want all this whiz-bang nonsense, again, not nonsense, if you want something a bit more pretty, it's still plenty fast. Why not install Mate? ?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mate is exactly that. It's.
I mean, I kind of felt like, are you guys trying to remake Mate? Because that looks a lot like you're trying to recreate Mate.
The big difference is that XFCE is still a bit more customizable than Mate, at least by default. Mate has that bit of old GNOME baggage that they only let you change what they think you should change. And with GNOME 3, they decided, no, you've been changing too much, so we're just dropping that right there.
And also, XFCE, like, strangely enough, in 2017, correct me if I'm right, It's still one of the few things you can just throw an infinite amount of separate X screens at, and it's like, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll do it. No issues whatsoever. If you're not using a compositor, LXD can do it too. Let's see. Yeah, those are, I guess, with Mate, last time you tried, it also worked out of the box.
Mate, I think it kind of sort of did. Every time I try Mate, there's always that one gotcha thing with me. And I don't scream about it, because if I screamed about it, Mate would end up working how I needed it to work and not how everyone else needed it to work. And that Venn diagram, those circles are very far apart in reality.
There's a teeny tiny overlap right at the edge.
Keep telling yourself out. Hey man, we're just going to mention this right quick, because this is more of a question directed to you at home. Send us some feedback on this one. Menuconfig.org. Tell me about it, Pedro, because I'm confused.
It is exactly what it sounds like. So if you've ever built your own kernel, and chances are if you're watching this, you probably did, you know what menuconfig is. Venn is loading it up right now. It's good to, there it is. It's just a little CLI that lets you configure all of the parameters, what drivers are included, what schedulers you want to use. Everything that's related to your kernel, you can set it through menuconfig. And then you would just configure the kernel with that configuration, and you would build it and install it. But someone figured, you know what, before people even download the kernel, let's let them configure it. Now, I don't actually know, I didn't go all the way through with this, so I don't know if they just let you download a BZ2 with just the config file, or if it gives you the full kernel source tree. I don't know. But it's probably just a config file.
Kind of having fun. Linux Nero was like, make menuconfig. It's like, oh, get off my lawn. Make line config if you want to go old school with it. You do got 45 minutes to kill. That'll do it. I couldn't imagine running it on a modern kernel, but I don't know. If you have some ideas, some use cases for this, we would love to hear them. Okay, what not to do?
Yes, do not do this. If you're a web hosting company, don't do what Windfall did. They are a South Korean web hosting company, and they got hit by a pretty bad exploit, which then installed ransomware on every single instance that they were running. That's their stuff, their client's stuff, everything was bitlocked. So the hackers, originally, they asked for 4.4 million bucks in, however, it's 1.2 billion won, according to the Ars Technica article. But they managed to kind of haggle it down to $1 million. So at least their marketing / PR company, they know their stuff.
Well, the negotiation's definitely a thing. I mean, they could have just sat back and been like, okay, can we have a set price on how many bitcoins you want, not what they're worth.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so then in their infinite wisdom, they decided, okay, we'll pay you that $1 million. And Dan Gooden from Ars Technica speculates that windfall payment by poorly secure hosts is likely to inspire new ransomware attacks. Now, honestly, I doubt they will be successful. It might inspire them to try to. I'm not saying otherwise. But I don't think they will be as successful as they were in this case, because in this case, the company was running a kernel from 2008 and an Apache and PHP version from 2006.
Leading
so
me
at that point
to kind of wonder, I mean, what's actually cheaper here, ladies and gentlemen? You know, the 1 million wet, stinky caches, hashtag pinky finger on that, or having a functional, tested backup solution. Maybe a lesson learned on that. However, Pedro, I kind of wish this host didn't have the money to pay them off, because there is no telling how many zomboxes are just floating in that service provider and still are. Now that it's back online.
Yeah, they are a web hosting company. The people that, not just their clients that were hosting stuff in it, but other people that access that stuff that weren't directly tied to them, that's also an issue. And at this point, they are basically, they've been burned. They are completely, and no one's ever going to touch this, or at least I hope not. Please don't.
Oh, come on. Give it 2 weeks and... You know, that's definitely a thing. Hey, man, some people had to talk about this, and we decided to kind of pull it up. They're like, my Ubuntu for mobile device post-mortem analysis. Pedro, hit your bullet points, because I can summarize this in 1 sentence.
Yeah, so Stormflipped, as he goes by on the internet, was one of the people who actively contributed to the Ubuntu Touch operating system. And I was reading through it, and he does bring up some good points and some very redundant ones. Namely, number 2, which is the user experience was bad and priorities skewed. Yeah, it was running Unity. That much was implied. And number 6, he says that the life of an app developer was too hard. He actually goes into details describing the steps, the hoops you would have to jump through in order to get your app up and running on the Ubuntu Touch store. That will kill app development on your platform. And without apps, that platform is dead on arrival.
Ecosystem.
Kind of what happened.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Here's the thing, though. You know, Ubuntu is getting ready for that IPO, and I'm just going to kind of miss stuff like this. Is hands-on head retarded as stuff like this was, though? I mean, Canonical just doing these wacky, bizarre moonshots that, you know, really genuinely had less than a 1% chance of succeeding. They were still kind of neat. Yeah, I know everyone loved to hate on them, and they had a few fans, and most of those people with a lot of those projects just kind of got burnt with this and Unity and all that fun stuff. But they were trying, though, and I've said that multiple times. They were doing something. You might have thought, it was like, that's mental. And, yeah, a lot of times it was mental. And they didn't.
No, it was a good idea.
Right.
Have something to compete with Apple and Google on the mobile market. That's a good idea.
But here's the thing. The only thing that can compete with Apple is Google, and that's because they came in second. They came in second after Apple launched that. They were the alternative. They weren't Google. They were alternative to Apple.
Yeah.
That was it. People was like, can we do something other than Apple? And Google walked out and they're like, okay, we'll do the Google thing. We got Android. Check that out. It's open source, but don't worry. Like a few years later, we're going to get kind of janky with the way we do the open source with that, and everyone's going to hate us a little bit. Sorry, that leaked out. Here's the thing. That's it. That's our market. You can't. Nothing's going to get in there at this point. And when I say this point, we're talking 15, 20 years. Maybe something different's going to come along. Not even Microsoft. Let's buy our way into every other single market, which they've done, including consoles, which all right, I'm not a betting man, would have lost money on that one when the original Xbox came out. It was like, there is no way you're getting in the console market. Bought their way in. Yes, they did. They couldn't even buy their way into the mobile market and establish an ecosystem. And the Microsoft Store was comedy, is all that was. There were
Still is.
If it's still around, and I know there's going to be but the hardware was really good.
Well, they did buy Nokia. They did have Nokia under their belt. But yeah, no, going back to Ubuntu Touch, Sturmflipped also mentions that Canonical went out and created an entirely new graphical server, which no one else wanted to use, and well, just about every single people told them as much, but Canonical's response to those people was, nah.
I'm going to argue with this, and this is me arguing for Ubuntu, which we all know I don't have the best relationship with. I know some people there. I really like some people there. Mir? Not Mir. Wait, what did they call that?
Yes.
Yeah, Mir. We needed a display server for mobile. Because you didn't.
Could have done it with Wayland.
Could have, but they didn't. But listen, again, they were trying something different. All right, doing their own thing. The main reason we needed it because you don't want to be running X, because you need it. X isn't a lightweight thing, man.
No.
So
it's not
I don't
slow. It's just
them.
very cumbersome.
Yeah, I mean, and plus it's like Java. It's backwards compatible with the stuff from 1800.
Yeah, there's a lot of old craft there, but yeah, they could have easily, if canonical wasn't canonical and they didn't have the not developed here syndrome, uh, if they had taken Mutter and they had taken not Mutter, Mutter?
Fata?
No, Weston. That's the compositor, and Wayland itself. Could have taken those and made it work on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
They could have, and they probably should have.
I mean, I just want to see Pedro's like armchair quarterback sports show on ESPN, where he sits there and gives you the breakdown of what they should have done. He was like, well, after the fact, it's real easy to tell you how a thing should have went, but it didn't. Okay, it's brilliant. It's not okay, Google. It's okay. What?
It's okay, Uncanny Valley. They say it's an open source virtual assistant project for Ubuntu-based Linux distributions. And the moment I scrolled down and I saw that lady blinking and twitching, it's like, did you ever feel like Mycroft had too much functionality and should have the face of a lady who fell nose first into the Uncanny Valley? Well, then Dragonfire is here for you. And it's got a really neat GitHub project, and they give you some of the available built-in commands. You can add your own, obviously. It can poke Yoda QA and enhanced AML for the grammar models. So that's
apparently
neat.
this thing parrots is like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm just what? Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it is built in Python, so you will need to have Python pip up and running, and then you just do a sudo pip install Dragonfire, and it's good to go if you want to try it.
I don't know, man. I mean, some people are like, I didn't get a chance to really look at this other than, oh my god. Cloud hosted, locally hosted. How does this thing work, man?
This is local. You can run it on your box.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to Mycroft. You can also have Mycroft running in your background, in the background of your session, like Strider did. And every now and again, it would lock up his box. That was neat.
Strider, we already miss you, buddy. You screaming Mycroft for 3 minutes, and then Mycroft would go purple and freeze your box. It was great, man. Good times. Hey, people. We're not going to read an ad, but we're going to thank everyone who's helping to make the show possible. I mean, we've been doing it for over a year. It's crazy, Pedro. I mean, it's like people kind of enjoy. Then again, sometimes you ever just hate watch something?
I used to have one of those shows, but then they went off the air. Yeah, but I used to do that, yes.
Well, if you enjoy hate watching us, you can support us so we don't go off the air.
Yeah, you can keep us on because we're that teeny tiny outlet of hate that you get every single week, multiple times a week. You can go to linuxgamecast.com and you hit the support button, and you have several different choices with which to provide us with all that much-needed monetary backing. Yes, our favorite is Patreon, patreon.com/linuxgamecast. You can join the
207 posts just for the beautiful party patrons.
Indeed, and those posts are usually the
we got
early,
Mystery Science Who 3000. We got the uncut versions. You get those 3 days early. You get a custom RSS feed for a show people don't even know about called the pre-super shows. And on top of that, you get to come hang out with everyone in Discord. That's right. We got a little, it's not super secret, but maybe you want to have a conversation with us where we're at the other 6 days a week, and there's over 60 of us in there, like-minded, and you don't have to worry about people jumping in and getting all triggered and offended and stuff like that. We got an Amazon wish list because we're putting together a new studio. It is slowly coming along, but surely coming along. If you listen to Saturday's show, some financing through the IRS cocking up something. So that's it's going to take a few weeks because government...
You're also going to have to bleep that out.
No, No, not really. Not the way I used it. It's perfectly.
Clicking?
No, I am going by BBC standards, son.
Okay.
I can totally get away with that. I mean,
They roostered it out.
Mm-hmm. It's a brilliant thing. We do want to have a little bit of a PSA before we announce a winner of a game, so stick with us. Yes. If you order, because we do have that wish list, which is great. That's just a list of stuff that we're planning on buying. If you would like to expedite the process, you can be like, yo, I like these Yahoos enough. You know, I put them on in the background and whatever. I'm going to pick them this up. Then you end up, we have a wall on Saturdays. It's pretty awesome. Go check it out for the fine, upstanding cannibals. We even get a new host on Saturdays, Frank. Quiet guy, but, you know, he chills out in the back, does his thing. But if you get anything through the Amazons, make sure you do the gift sending option, or don't send it to yourself. We had somebody send it to themselves.
Oops.
Yeah. I was like, I feel bad for you, son. I do. Mainly because I've done this, but it's Amazon. All you have to do is ring them up, like, give me a return label, and they'll credit to your account, and they'll just ship it back. Then you can, if you feel like it, redo it. That's the advice. I have to do that because we do it through the Amazons, mainly so we don't end up with your address. That's terrifying. So let's not have that. Week before last.
You don't want Jordan with your address.
No, we don't even keep track of each other's address. So this is not us being cagey. Let's just all be safe and all that fun stuff. We gave away a copy of Slain back from Heck Edition. Had a contest. You just had to tweet, not the most recent show, but the week before that, when we announced it, and we wanted to give everyone just a little extra time to do it, we had a couple people throw it in. And our winner is one Mr. Jason Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
That's right. That's the sound of all right. That's the sound of you winning a free game. I'll get in contact with you since it is a gift item that J Baby has in his inventory. We'll tell everyone about this on Saturday too. So he'll have to gift it to you, and it's not too hard to work out. Okay. It's time for some
Okay, all that chilling has made me a bit hungry, and there's only a teeny tiny slice of pie, and since Strider isn't here, I'm taking it. So, Intel, you may have heard this bit of news over the week. They announced that the Joule, the Edison, the Galileo, Joule, and Edison's, those different toolkits.
Why didn't they call it the Jolene?
No, because they wanted to go with scientist names. So they are, all of those prototype boards and compute modules and whatevers have reached end of life. People were saying, oh, so they're not competing against the Raspberry Pi anymore. Nope, they still are. You may remember a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned the Minnow Board 3. That one is still in active development and will continue to be supported. And the Curie compute module is also still actively supported. So those two still give you some leeway if you want an x86 based prototype board a la the Raspberry Pi.
But aren't these things still wicked expensive though, man?
Yes, they are. Because Intel.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe if you're buying something like that, you're looking at what, like maybe an ATM or
something embedded that you absolutely need that x86 for, and power consumption
really
isn't
fancy
an issue.
ATM. You know,
Yeah.
ATM / Killbot. Okay.
Yes.
And maybe that's they always seem like way too pricey. Every time I look, even at the billions of other x86 prototyping boards. This is from somebody who has a Pegasus board. Go look at what one of those cost. It's like, no, if I want x80, I don't even want x86 in a small form factor. I guess for the home use, it's kind of hard to justify it when you can go through a fistful of 20s and get a bunch of like Pi Zero Wi-Fi's and
yeah, for $10 you could get the Pi Zero Wi-Fi. Although Asus also had their Raspberry Pi sort of prototype board that was close in price to the Raspberry Pi 3, but it was still more expensive. I honestly don't know, because chances are, if you are doing prototyping and you want something that's actively supported and there's a big enough community around it that anything you're doing, chances are has already been done or someone's also working on it.
Well, that's
The
another
Raspberry Pi
thing.
is what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's, I think, definitely a better Tinker device. And companies that are doing something with x86 and they're going to do something like that because their sales weasel screwed up and made a deal with Microsoft that whatever, they have to run Windows embedded or whatever. That they got the money to do that, and they're going to spend the money because they want the support from Intel and all this other fun stuff. Okay, that's going to do it for the show, except for a little bit of feedback, yeah, right?
Teeny tiny bits, yes. You can go to linuxgamecast.com, you hit the contact button, you fill out the form. Make sure to pick LWDW from the little drop-downy menu. It's pretty easy. Venn's CAPTCHA isn't all that hard to work around, so let us know what you think.
Well, I spent like 3 hours on that. What's your problem?
It's simple maths is all I'm trying to get at.
I had a brain short out the other day because I couldn't. We have like 3 different layers of caching on the site because reasons. I was trying to make that work, and my brain was not processing the 0. So I was checking it. And of course, I was putting in 6. And on the third try, I in shame, I stood up and walked out of the studio for 30 minutes and did something.
That's usually the best way to do it. It's like, don't work with shame.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. Hey, look who's still around, baby.
Oh, Mr. Sandy. Yes, he actually left us a comment on YouTube last week when we talked about the Qt team with Qt 5.10. They have introduced proper Vulkan rendering inside the Qt framework.
Mm-hmm.
The entire Qt framework doesn't support Vulkan still, but that's for the future. As I said last week, it was the first step, and Sandy says, what? Wow, right on, Qt dev team. I am correct. Every now and again. Great first step. But no, it is a very good first step, as I mentioned, but it's a teeny tiny step. It's just proper rendering for Vulkan contexts inside Qt Windows. That's basically all it is.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's phase 1 cross-platform, yes, and we're going to get Vulkan all up into things. Why are we going to? Why is that going to happen? Because they're thinking about putting. Well, they're not thinking about it. They're starting to implement it in toolkits. And hey, you know what Vulkan is? Vulkan is Tesexy, which I didn't expect. I thought Vulkan adoption was going to take a while, and there was going to be a lot of grumbling and fighting. So it's too complicated, but a lot of people we've just seen just from the gaming side on that show we did Saturday, tons of people. It's turned into like putting Doom on a toaster. It's like, let's see if we can get a Vulkan render for X. Yeah. And the toolkit stuff's kind of blown my mind because you're just like, well, I can do this with Vulkan and we get it on mobile and it works everywhere. Hey, DX12, what's going on? DX12 looks at you, pulls the glue stick out of its mouth, and it's like, I play video game. And it puts the glue stick up.
Xbox One X.
It's like, well, where do you play it, DX12? Xbox, Windows. Oh, any Windows? 10. And that's the end of that story. Last but not least, Chemical one, maybe?
Chemical 01.
Hard. He writes, hey guys, I've installed Ubuntu in the past, but everyone was giving me expletive deleted. Family-friendly show. Guess who made an edit? This guy. For running it. Thinking about installing Arch. Can I run it full-time? Is it really that hard to use?
Wait. People were giving you sugar for using Ubuntu, and all of a sudden you feel like Arch is the better alternative?
Well, I mean, arguably, Arch is easier to use than Ubuntu.
Arguably, but it's harder to maintain.
Not really, because you just have it set up on a dual partition that you boot about every 3 months, and then you go online and tell everyone that you're a Linux.
Windows,
yeah,
yes.
Right.
But yeah, no. If you want to use Linux properly, you want to avoid that Ubuntu stigma for some reason, try Solus. Seriously, try Solus. It's very easy to use. It's very stable. You don't have to worry about updating every 6 months. It's a rolling release. They don't keep on the edge, the bleeding edge of software development, so most of the versions included in Solus are stable enough for regular use. Arch, on the other hand, you could run it full time, but you would be spending most of that time fixing that one package that just broke your system, and all of a sudden you can't boot anymore.
Part, what is it? Antigos?
Anargos, yes.
Anargos. That's what 99.99% of the people have installed up and running. And listen, you don't get no smack when you install Babby's first Linux, because that's what that is. That is a Tonka toy front end, which runs Arch in the background, reasonably stable. It's going to work on most of your hardware. It's not like back in the day. Yes, get off my lawn time when you had to sit and write your Xorg config file. You know, that's what these people say they've done, which they haven't, and you can obviously tell as soon as you engage them in conversation.
You run Arch Linux.
I think Arch is a great project. You know, we personally love it, but it's kind of with like anything that gets a fan base. You know the ones we're talking about, and the people running Arch right now is like, yeah.
That vocal minority of Arch users.
We know the ones you're talking about. Well, all right, but that's definitely a thing. Hey, beautiful people. It's been fun. We've had a great time talking about Linux. I've been Vinstone. If you ever want to check me out, I'm on Twitter at Vinstone, plus Vinstone. Just type in Vinstone. It was kind of funny one time. Pedro was doing a vanity search on himself. Then I heard him and he typed in my name and he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah.
Because if you type Vinstone into Google, all you get is that guy. That's all you're getting.
He'll say to.
But me, on the other hand, well, I now show up on the first page of Google. For some reason, my Twitter profile that's at unaccounted for is on the first page of Google. My Google Plus profile, plus Pedro Mateos, on the other hand, only shows up on the second page. What's up with that?
It's crazy. Hey, it's been another great day for Linux, everyone. And remember, support those who support Linux.
Yes.
And credits. Bye-bye. Well, not really bye-bye, because we always hang out after the credits.
As usual, yeah. But it's, going back to the Vulkan thing, I really, 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 really want a GLX implementation with Vulkan. I want Vulkan to handle my compositing. I want Vulkan to handle all of the window stuff. I want Vulkan. Gimme.
I want to focus on the things, but I'm sitting back and patient because, you know, I still think we're about a year and a half out before the tools get there to make it where everyone can Vulkan, bro.
Yeah, it is very much a fledgling API. And one of the things that always leaves me with a smile on my face is when I read about stuff saying, oh yeah, we implemented DX12, but as it turns out, DX12 only made it easier for us to implement Vulkan. Like, yes! Yes!
Boop. Oh, do I have that in... Why you no show? Oh. That's why you no show. I get you hidden, bro. There we go.
Yeah, Steam client on Vulkan, just all of the things that use GL for rendering, use Vulkan instead.
About the Debian broken developers working fix.
Great.
Darren, don't tell anyone. I want somebody to spend like 6-7 hours going, what's wrong with my USB drive? That's good to know, though. That's one of those things that you, after those 6 hours, you're like, you know, if I'd known that. Let's see. Let's not save this to an MP3, but instead a WAV. Data fire, Steve. See you Saturday. Hopes.
All right. See you, Steve. Let's see. Bug doesn't seem to be hardware specific or local. It's only for some users. Oh, is it the file name bug again? That if you have a non-English, no, there are people who have English set up and it's still not working. Huh. Okay, because I ran into that bug a while back. I was installing Debian on something, and because I'm an idiot and I just, oh yeah, it's Portuguese, so I'm gonna pick Portuguese. There was a bug because with the Portuguese locale, there was a folder that had a different name, and someone had forgotten to account for that. So you can install anything.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So instead of getting the udebs, the metadebs, you will have to get the full debs. Which means if you're doing a net install, it's going to take a bit longer. And the Steam sale starts tomorrow. Yes, it does. Although I only wanted the one game and I already have it. It was silver.
How's multiplayer work?
No, silver doesn't have multiplayer.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about,
Oh, yes, Dying Light. I played a lot of Dying Light with Arthurian because Arthurian saw the game went on sale for like 20 euros, 20 bucks. The almost complete edition, because as we discovered, it's not the completely complete edition. But yeah, no, he got it for me. I thought, yeah, you know what? It's cheap now. I might get it. 5 minutes later, there's a window. It's like, oh, thank you, Arthur, and thank you. But yeah, no, the multiplayer works just fine. Which is really neat. And there's no noticeable performance drop when you're playing in multiplayer either, so it's good. At least it was just the two of us, so yeah.
Yeah, we'll play some multiplayer of that when the thing hits like $9.99. Because that was the only game I've ever tested Steam refunds on.
Well, I got a refund before Steam Steven refunds. No, Steam refunds were a thing. Frickin' Witcher 2. I remember that day Lucius went down. I really thought the end of the world would happen. Lucius went down? That should tell you I don't use it all that often. Would recommend grabbing Flint Hook. Port by Ethan Lee. Yeah, I looked at that, and I saw a platformer. More platformer. This one's got a grappling hook.
What happened to the, there used to be a game called The Grappling Hook that was available on Linux way back when. Wasn't a bad game for its day. What happened to Lutris?
Oh,
did the Weasels get out?
Cody was saying that,
Oh, I know it went down.
yeah.
I think Rohit or someone in Discord was like, oh, it's back up now. Which is not a fun feeling.
Website went down for a bit. Strider could have been doing things. And he poked the wrong thing.
Hey, he was just upgrading everything to the latest and greatest.
1710 beta 3? 2.
Nah, man. He was putting pre-release Debian on it.
Debian unstable, yes. Then again, if you're running Ubuntu, the latest version of Ubuntu, you are basically running Debian unstable.
Yeah. It's one thing I'm dreading, building Box of Business 3.0. It will be full 3.0. Because this is Box of Business 2.5. It had a chassis overhaul. And it's had its guts overhauled. in the same case. So Mark III will be going back to one of the old full size. We were talking about this Saturday, like massive server cases I have, like, spots for 2 power supplies.
Yeah.
480s in the front, 480s in the back. I'm just a big, massive honking box. I call it Tipsy Danger. It's nuclear powered. The EMPs can't take it out. But yeah, swapping these boxes over, man, because I'm legitimately going to have to reverse engineer things.
Well, you're going to need at least kernel 4.10 because the Pennywise.
Oh no, Pedro! How ever will I figure out how to install a custom kernel? I'm already scared.
No. He tried with kernel 4.8 to get his Ryzen 5 1600 going. Slow, so very slow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you will need 4.10 at least. Also, Ike, if you're watching, 4.10 at least. Get on it.
It's always the fun thing when you say that. You see Ike just pop into IRC. It's like, I'm watching you, cunt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was fun when Aaron from NVIDIA just popped in your
stream last week when I was doing the Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah.
The first part of Hyperlight Drifter. Actually, it's like Aaron P. Why does that sound familiar? I didn't think too much about it. That it's like, oh, probably your Unity monitor config overwrote your XR.
That's almost exactly my thought process. Is like, Aaron, that sounds familiar. I was watching it in the TV in the kitchen, and then he starts rattling off stuff that was like, what the? I was like,
maybe your Unity thing overwrote the XR conf. It's like, oh, Aaron P. Right. I know who you are.
All right, let me get a refill. We'll probably hang out for another 10 minutes before we...
Yes. Yeah, Aaron, if you're still watching us, thanks for dropping by. Because he was in chat realm today, again. Aaron was the one who reminded me that the word that I was looking for those cans that you use to spray smell nice thingies in your bathroom are called air fresheners. Because my brain just went, yeah, I don't need this bit of info. Zick. Bloody hell me, what did I do? Yes, smell nice thingies. Yeah, we definitely will, Arthur. We definitely will. Because I want to play some more Dying Light. And you're considerably higher level than me, so... Meat shield. Oh, you were... Okay, right. Fair enough. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to get all the stuff ready for the big move. I guess most of you don't know yet, but I'll be moving this time for realsies on the 7th of July. That's when I'm gonna go to the UK. So if for some reason on the 8th, Linux Gamecast Weekly on the 8th, you don't see me is because I couldn't get interwebs going and my 4G LTS wasn't working properly. Yeah. That's one of the bits of DLC that the supposed enhanced edition, which includes a lot of DLCs. It should include all of them, but it does not include the the Ranger something DLC, yeah, that comes with the Ranger bow and the vehicle. Can't remember what it's called. Yes, yeah. When you when you bought me the game, you bought the enhanced edition that comes with the following included. Yeah, vehicle skin. Can't remember. It has a name. I saw it, but I can't remember it. Let's see. Trying to figure out this Raspberry Pi 3 Model B nonsense. If I can get the RCA portion of it working, that would be great because I have no HDMI televisions. You could. I mean, push comes to shove, you can just use one of those HDMI to DVI, then DVI to VGA. Those Linux Steam games had all that HD gaming stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you can do it with converters. It's just, you will probably have issues with VSync or not being able to get any VSync, and the refresh rate will look odd because some parts of the screen will be at a regular refresh rate and others will just be completely off. So you'll get like a blurry bar in the middle of the screen. That's usually what happens. Oh yeah, chat realm. If anyone wants to suggest something that I can cook for dinner, I'm also open to suggestions because I have no idea what to cook today. You can hear the footsteps. Hardwood floors. Math is the answer. Intensity Pro, so HDMI can have all that HDMI capturing. Oh yeah, that's going to be a that's going to be an afternoon of Venn just futzing around with that video capture card.
Yeah, it'll make for some good instructional videos.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing we do manage to pull off, is trying to share some education.
Yeah.
No, that would just be handy. You see, you think about the black magic and like, oh, video games. Like, dude, you have no idea. My brain just goes into hyper. I can think of about 16 cool things I'd like to try to make it do.
Mm-hmm.
So. Well, that's one of the advantages once we build Tipsy Danger, will be we're going to repurpose the current box of business, the one that's, actually shouldn't be running too hot right now. Let's see. What's that? Half tilt, a little lower. So it's not too bad at all. But we're going to be repurposing this business into primarily our own Rainbow Bridge box. That's going to be a thing, and it's also going to be the dedicated processing and streaming box. Then we'll also be able to set up for YouTube is like a 24/7 LGC review, Linux Weekly, Daily, Wednesday, just loop.
Yeah, like a broadcast playlist.
Right.
Always live streaming.
And just have that, when you want background noise and you don't want it to be good, educational, or entertaining, just put it right on that. Golden.
How to middle finger black magic would be a really good video. Well, it depends. It will mostly depend on how reliant Venn will have to be on the proprietary drivers.
Oh, it'll work. I have no illusions.
I'm not saying otherwise. It's just depending on how reliant you will have to be on those proprietary drivers will dictate just how far you can push it. A stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time with a dedicated streaming box could be.
The only problem with that, Jill, without using a third-party service, which I've looked into too, and both of them are rubbish,
Yeah.
is if I had the bandwidth, if I could buy the bandwidth. Okay, here's the thing, though. I can probably buy the bandwidth, but Charter Business is so gosh damn cagey. I can get 300 down on my business line here for 135 a month. Over the phone, over the emails, they will not comment on what the upload speed is.
On the phone?
Right? What do I have to? Do I have to revert to kidnapping again? I mean, didn't we learn anything from the first time?
I mean, at that point, you're going, it's like, dude, I'm literally right here.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, what's the upload speed?
I'm like, oh, but this far to go into debt to pay for some bandwidth, and what? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to mail you a handwritten letter?
Postcard. Just send him a postcard.
And
But yeah, I want me a job after I move so I can buy me a Ryzen system. That's the only thing holding me back right now. I need source of income because I don't want to burn through my savings, basically.
I mean, we're getting there. Thing is, the Ryzen's for the show. If I'm going to be honest, if it was just me and we weren't trying to do cooler things, which is a blanket statement from some of the stuff I have planned. I'm going to be honest, people. I mean, if you can find an old 8150, or I'm sure Pedro's, what are you running? The
8370.
373. You can get away with 90% of your gaming needs on these if you're just looking for. I mean, if you can find one on the cheap for like £100, pick it up.
I mean, probably not a bulldozer pile driver part. Because 990FX motherboards and even the lower end chipsets stupidly expensive right now because they're not making them anymore.
You see, in this beautiful land which I've came to called the Americas, they have this thing called Craigslist, and they have this rapid abundance of college kids and morons who get brand new things and effectively give stuff away.
Yeah. You might get lucky in the used market, but yeah, it's very hard to find an AM3 or AM3 Plus motherboard for a reasonable price because they're very, very hard to find in general.
Usually the stuff on Craigslist comes sandwiched together in the slot because they're giving away the whole box for like $20.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Christmas time when they have the fall and spring move-outs. My friend is the property manager for this massive thing. I mean, there's probably 300 units in it. And it's what I call college-assisted living.
Yeah.
Because they have people that will come and get their laundry and do their laundry for them, and they have panic buttons in each room. I mean, it's like, wow. They can't have glass around the pool. You know, don't want them to... I'm ripping on them. I got friends that live there too, though, because I got some friends in their early 20s that I party with, and when they do the cleaning, the stuff they leave, she just blows me up on text. I mean, hookahs, long as you can imagine. There's so many hookahs and computers, routers. I just get a shopping list, and not like shopping. She's like, "Do you want any of this? Because I'm going to throw it away."
Cody, linuxgamecast.com about. It's there. You got all the emails. Van, Jordan, me, MT, Strider.
What is there an email I can get a hold of? Who are you trying to get a hold to?
You for sending the black magic.
Yeah, yeah. I pulled down those emails just because they're common sense emails.
Yeah.
First name at. Somehow people manage to still send email to like linuxgamecast@gmail.com. I'm like, where the hell did you even get that?
There used to be like a tool, like it was just a search tool that you would type in the thing and it would give you the email addresses. Let's see. Email.
The only reason that email exists is when Google and Yahoo lost its S and made you get like a YouTube account for your G Plus account, and your G Plus account now needed its own separate YouTube account on top of that other Gmail account. That's how I ended up with the linuxgamecast@gmail.com. I didn't even get it for a placeholder, and I get email there. I'm like, well, how? It used to be really fun because somebody had a phone number that was like one off, and I had hilarious emails. I probably still, not emails, voicemails. Probably still have them. I gotta look them up.
Okay. Well, I found one of those, and it only shows show@linuxgamecast.com. Mine, Jordan's, and yours. For some reason, there is a tripadvisor.com.tr, don't go to that link, location photo direct link that is being used as a source for show@linuxgamecast.com.
Nice.
Why? How? I don't know, but it's there. And I think someone refreshed my my Linux Gamecast email in the spam list because I am getting 10 times as much spam as I used to. It's like from one day to the next, it's like, oh crap.
Oh, one of the spam bots definitely got fired back up.
Yeah.
I noticed that because they come in waves too. I mean, it's all like one salvo followed by another salvo. Which I mean, because I keep Spam Assassin on like 5. Because we also get the emails that are mass pushed out to, review sites and stuff like that. So that stuff's got to get through. And I want the semi-reasonably looking legit stuff to get to us. But, I mean, other than that, you have a regular junk folder in Thunderbird. And if you haven't manually added it, Pedro, if you add a spam folder...
I did. That's what I'm doing.
You have to... I mean, it doesn't automatically show up. You have to create it and put it in there. Then it'll give you all the Spam Assassin spam, which is almost 100% junk.
Right now, it's been... Every now and again, I'll get one spam email that manages to slip by and just stays in the inbox. But I don't get any legit emails going to the spam box anymore, so that's good.
Every now and then I get one, but I'm always a bit excited. I'm like, oh, look at you, little buddy. You made it.
But they're also glaringly obvious because usually the subject lines are filled with improper grammar or completely nonsensical semantics.
Right.
The email address in itself is just laughable.
Let's see what we have here.
Software bundle? Any Linux software at all?
Shit.
Oh, last pass.
When you
mean the one that got hacked?
Yeah, that one.
Damn it.
That's it.
So we get one bit of software, and it's from a company that got hacked not too long ago. Well, good times.
That's it. That's the best they could do for us, man.
Let's see. How about the other bundle sites? I just keep them all in a folder, and I usually click through them to see if there's anything interesting.
I've seen anything recently. Well, I guess that was the bundle because Humble sent out a thing earlier this week. Like, sorry, no bundle today, but check back with us later in the week. Like, guys, you're just a store now.
Yep.
It's not an event when there's like 3 bundles every other week.
Although they have the humble manga bundle.
Nope.
They have some Fairy Tail volumes 1 through 5, 6 through 25. The Ice Trail Volume 1, Fairy Tail Zero, Fairy Tail Blue Mistral, Girls, Fairy Tail Girls, yes. And more Fairy Tail Girls if you want to look at drawn anime boobies.
Nope.
For some reason.
It's like, oh, there's a new Humble bundle. Click that. It opened up the Humble page. It's like, nope. I was like, oh,
yeah, I got the email about
it.
the
I got to do
roguelikes.
Then responsible Venn kicked in. He's like, you got to put it in the show notes. I was like, do I really? Like, yes, fine. And we did.
It was the mobile roguelikes bundle. I got the email for that. Well, it wasn't the email. It was just the notification on Android because I have the Humble app installed because of all the ebooks.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, the roguelikes bundle is... Oh, yeah, you make one of those and all of those games have Linux versions, I'll buy the shit out of that.
Definitely. I heard the super hot version, Arthur, the VR version that they're doing for the Vive. I mean, they've reworked the game. It's not just a...
Not just a VR port.
Right. You know, they just didn't add some movement controls in there. There's supposedly some bunch of cool things in there. And they've reworked. But, you know me in VR.
Yeah. But it is one of those games that would actually work well in VR because the
poly
movement
count
scheme...
is low.
Yeah. Low poly count. The way you move around basically involves teleporting to where an enemy is and taking over their body. And everything else is just dodging and sidestepping and doing the shooting.
And everyone I've talked to, they got a chance to play with the Skyrim VR on the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Not good.
The best one. Can you just imagine visually Skyrim on the PS2?
So, Oblivion? No, not Oblivion. Not even that, because Oblivion was PlayStation 3. Morrowind?
It's effectively, they said if there was one notch below low, that's effectively how hard they had to nerf it in order for it to work with the PS4.
Because it has to render everything, because you can't really cull without introducing delay when you're looking around.
Mm.
Yeah!
And they've done some tricks with how things size objects when you get near them.
Hmm?
How, though, you can't tell the sizes of things. They said a cave that
Mm-hmm.
you can easily walk in would be, that big. And you can't tell until you're right on it. And then it's whoosh, and you're like, oh, okay, I can go in there.
So they lowered the LOD. Yeah, no. I mean, I get that they would need to keep at least, what was it that PlayStation VR did? It wasn't 90, it wasn't the full 90 FERPs. It was a bit lower. And on a console, that's a bit of an issue. Because they can't even maintain 60, let alone 90.
We'll see. I mean, I'm genuinely curious if the Microsoft's Xbox X, One X, whatever it is this week.
Microsoft were really clever, because if you take just the initials of X, box,
Microsoft's not really clever,
X.
Pedro. Some people are just really bored. They're like, well, if you take this and see how it comes together and it says X, no one cares. None.
Yeah, but that was a neat thing when I realized. I was like, oh, Xbox One X. The acronym spells out Xbox. Okay.
You know, Presbyterian's also an anagram for Britney Spears. Just saying, man.
Sure.
I mean, I'm curious, man. As much as they hyped up 4K, what they meant to say was UHD, 3840 by 2160. I don't think they're going to be able to deliver it.
Most of it is going to be because they're counting on people not having a lot of 4K, actual 4K displays.
You see,
UHD
Pedro,
displays.
you're living in Europe, apparently.
Yes.
In this beautiful land of freedom, where the air is so full of freedom, it would probably choke you. Everything's 4K. They have 4K displays at the chemist, the drugstores, for $200.
Yeah, no.
There's no. Apparently, in Portugal, 4K displays cost stupid amounts of money, and they're not. You can't buy a TV here without it being 4K.
Oh no, you can buy plenty of TVs here, and most of them will be 1366 by 768.
It's like I got on Amazon when I was looking because we want to have that El Cheapo Amazon TV I put on our wish list, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find a 720p one. I was like, that's really all we need because it's like, what is my purpose? And it's like, you're just going to have, you know, if we have a guest on or something like that, to have the TV right there instead of having to run it on another monitor and do some trickery. We could just pump it out to that in a wide shot. So I couldn't find a 720p. That wasn't like refurbished. It's like, yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah, no, they are for sale here, new. And if you want a 1080p one, yeah, you're paying around 200-ish euros. And if you want a 4K one, the cheapest one that you can find right now is 600 euros. That's the cheapest 4K TV you can get right now.
Arthur and I quit counting unredeemed Steam keys on Humble at page 7.
Pretty sure it's up to 9 pages for me now.
Probably.
It's one of those things that is just, oh, look, it's that one game that I want. It's in a bundle. Zzz.
Yeah, I still buy the bundles. Sometimes I buy the like non-regular Humble bundles if it's like a game that we might possibly review. I'm like, yeah, let's check that out. What was the... oh, did you send the team behind the 2.5D series?
Yes, I did.
All right.
But
kind of
it's being
assumed you
published by Crow Team, so we're waiting a little while because they take their sweet ass time. They do good work, but yeah, their PR team takes a while to get back to people.
I think that'd be fun to play in the after show, but I think it's only up to 4 players now. So.
Yeah. Let's see. That's it was made by the people who made Hammerwatch, and looking at the visuals, it looks very much like the Hammerwatch engine. And Hammerwatch was limited to 4 players, multiplayer.
Yeah, more stuff to play in the after show.
Yeah.
I mean, we need games that are massively multiplayer, just because even with 8 slots, we have people in line. Right, we're swapping people out even when we have. I mean, technically, with minus 3 of us, if we have 5 available slots, and yeah, we're still having to rotate people out. So, and we want a game
it's like
that
everyone wants to play Rocket Cars.
oh, it's Rocket League or something like that. We got some email about Ultimate Chicken Horse. I still got to put in there. Because it's got to be a decent. It can't be a stupid expensive game either.
Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of wish, you know, speedrunners would have like a 10-player, which I can imagine trying to keep track of that. But
and even with just 4 or 5, like we usually do, it you can tell the delay. That's every now and again a couple of people will just like glitch back and twitch. But yeah.
All right. So that's going to take us to 1 hour, 40 minutes of live streaming. Beautiful people.
Yeah.
Pedro, you go make some dinner, and I'm going to turn this into a podcast. So Yeah, it takes me about 4 hours to stick this together, package it, get it uploaded, and do all the fancy stuff, and put a glitter bomb on it. So
Boom.
expect that there. I mean, yeah, we're still averaging between, what was it? All right, I don't say averaging. I know last week we had 780 something audio downloads of this show, so I know people, you're listening.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Even just the audio listeners. Well, considering it's us, that's most of you out there.
Mm. Well, they never know. They'll never know. We've thanked them. They're like, hey, they never thank us. So,
Well, if you meet one of our audio listeners, tell them to go check the full unedited thing on YouTube.
after stealing their wallet.
That too.
We're just kidding. LGC cares. All right. Cheers.